Hello there, it's Paul here and welcome everyone. So this video I've just finished off this box and did some pattern work on here, and I'll have a talk at the end of the video. Now, I rough turned these boxes over a year ago and they're all reading a moisture content of below 12%. Now what's interesting is that I made a note of all the weights so you can check for any weight loss. This one was 110.1 grams down to 103.2, so it's lost 6.9 grams, so it's not much at all. 148.4 down to 137.4, so again it's lost about 7 grams, so it's not very much at all. It just goes to show that even just by weighing something all the time, you're going to get a very minimal weight loss. So it's pretty hard to judge, I think, when something is totally dry just going by weight. But I've got a feeling that when I was drilling these out, there was quite a lot of steam coming out of there, so there was a reasonable amount of moisture in there. I've mounted the lid in here first of all because I prefer to work on the lid first of all, but it's down to personal preference. These are quite chunky, so I've actually got, if I want, a fair bit of waste on the top and the base on both of these. It's down to personal preference whether you prefer to put a mortise or a tenon in the base or the lid. I don't think it makes any difference whatsoever. I want to then finish the inside off here, then I'm going to turn the lid down a bit and do some decoration on the lid first of all, so that hopefully I've got all of that done. Then I can do the base. I have bought myself the Axminster Eccentric Spiralling Chuck. My lid here, I've just created a jam chuck to put this on, and I've just got some masking tape around there to try and make sure that it doesn't spin, and for the moment I will use a bit of tailstock support. I've got 2 marks on here. The first mark here on the tape is where the inside actually goes up to, and I've got a second mark on here which really all this top here is waste. So I want to turn this down, then I will do my pattern once I've got rid of all this waste block here, where I'll then start to put this off centre and rotate it around. This is the spiralling chuck, and I've got my piece of waste block on here. That's just held in a bit like with a lot of face plates, with just 3 small screws just held into the bottom there. So you've got the first block here that sits on, and that's just held in with this one bolt here, and there is a pin just in there to locate it, and it means you can then rotate it around 12 different stops. I've just put a Sharpie marker on one of these so that I always know where my first position is, and you've just got an indexing line on the top here. So you've then got your main plate here. This is what that sits on, and it's also the piece which then you screw into the main sort of right ring on the back to choose your offset. So there's 2 Allen key bolts in here. There's one here which is just basically just to tighten it down, and the one on the opposite side is your index point. So this is very much like the face plates Axminster do. Just go straight onto ordinary C-jaws, so it's nice, quick and easy, because this part is a little bit of messing about if you're going to constantly keep changing it around. So I've just loosened both of these off at the moment anyway. So I'll just release this one, and I'm going to probably just do going to have to just see, experiment as I go along. At the moment I'm just moving that across to 2 points. So I've gone from there, which is central, to there. So I could go another 2 further points. Tighten this down again. So as I say, this is a little bit of messing about, having to change these every time, or alternatively, once I've got my offset point on here, I will rotate this index piece, which is at least just the one Allen key to do on there. But the good thing is, because it just goes onto the C-jaws like this, it's so quick and easy to take off, and it's always going to go back true every single time. So what I've done there now, I've just done 2, and I had moved the index position around a third of the way, so it's 4 steps. So to do this, just loosen this off the bottom here, just once about 2 turns, find my index position, which is there, and I want that now to go around another 4 positions. So I can see from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should now be 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tighten that up. Now I've done the 3 circles on there. I've put the chuck right back to where I started from, so it's all central again. I'm going to fill these with Milliput. I have, I think, literally all the colours of Milliput that you can get. And I'm going for the black on this. Now, if you've never used Milliput before, it's a bit like a 2-part putty, where you get your colour and your hardener, and the idea is to mix these in equal quantities. Not sure how much I will need, so it's a bit of a guesstimate. And the 2 parts you just basically knead together for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to end up with black hands unless I put some gloves on. Advisable to wear gloves. I don't always wear gloves, but it just saves your hands getting covered and turning the colour you're turning into. I've been kneading this for about 5 minutes now, and it becomes a little bit softer after a couple of minutes. And the idea is to just make sure you get it, push it right into all the edges to make sure there's no air pockets in there, and I will leave that to dry before I come back and then turn that down. This has been left overnight now to fully harden, and all I want to do now is just turn the waste Milliput back just to fully reveal the pattern what I've got in there. Now I've just turned this back enough to reveal the pattern in there, so it's nowhere near finished. But what I want to do next is actually put in a couple of circles, which is why I've left this on the chuck all central. So I'm going to try and put a circle somewhere around there, and also one in the middle. And then I'm going to fill that with Milliput again. So I'm going to look for a contrasting colour of some sort. So I have mixed up the superfine white, which I want to do on the central ring there, because that will be a total contrast with the black to the white. And I've also used the turquoise blue, so I'm going to try that on the outer ring. This has now been left to harden, and so I can now do the final finish and cut on the top here. Just to take it back and reveal the pattern, sand off the top, finish off the top. I won't finish the outsides on here yet until I get this onto the box. Really pleased the way this has come out, and I basically bought the Eccentric Spiralling Chuck from Axminster Tools just recently, and there's lots of things you can do with this, so this is just one example that I've shown on there. The great thing about this is that once you've got your piece mounted on there, it's got a sort of a two-part to the chuck, so you can put yourself off centre as much as you like. There is a limitation on how far you can go off this, And then once you've got that, the good thing you've got is this central piece here where you can rotate it into sort of like an index of 12 rotational places, which is really, really good, because then you can come up with these sort of very symmetrical patterns like I did with the 3 circles for the black on there. Now, the only downside on this is that it's not a quick and easy thing to keep changing around. The good thing is, with the chuck holding on to the C-type jaws, you can take it off quite quickly. Rotating this index piece around takes probably a matter of a few seconds just to loosen this middle nut off by probably about 2 turns, and then you've got enough leeway to turn it around. But I'm going to probably cover this chuck in more detail in a future video, just to give some more different ideas on the good and bad things on this. I got this at a reduced price. Now, whether Axminster have just reduced them just as a one-off, just as like a summer sale type thing, I'm not sure, or whether it's going to be permanently reduced. I think I paid about £50 for this, where they're normally about £70. So I will, if anybody knows anything on that, then please do let me know. Thanks a lot for watching.